And then Malcolm here with my 306th Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you a review for Arkham Asylum Madness by Sam Keith. I picked this one up from the library, and it's one I picked up a few times now. I looked at it, flicked through it, didn't really like the artwork much and put it back, but this time I caved and came home with it. This is a very different type of story from the DC universe. As the name suggests, it is all set at Arkham Asylum, where the building itself is almost the main character. We follow Sabine as she travels to work with her husband and child. She's one of the day nurses at Arkham Asylum. We start at 5:45 AM. Each scene has a timestamp so we can see how the day is progressing. Now she gets to work, she clocks in, and then we jump to some of the other characters there, some of the other members of staff, some of the inmates. And the whole thing has a clock, which is way up on a wall, ticking away, but every now and again makes a weird thunk noise. And this constant ticking with this thunk masterfully creates a sense of tension. And we know the inmates of Arkham Asylum aren't nice. We've got the Joker, there's Poison Ivy, Harlequin, Two-Face, the Killer Croc, Scarecrow, and Man-Bat are the ones we actually see in there. Any one of which is more than capable of causing chaos and murder and mayhem. And Sabine's a relatively new nurse. I don't think this is her first day, but she's not been there many days. She's still learning aspects of what it's like to work at Arkham Asylum, and particularly why it has a quick changeover, not just due to the fact that people can't hack it, but also because various unpleasant things happen, particularly to the guards, some of which she learns about. And indeed, we follow Sabine over a 24-hour period because her day shift ends into a night shift. She has to do a double shift suddenly, and the pressure is continually increased. This bloody clock ticking away, and is literally a bloody clock. It starts dripping what appears to be blood. It's not keeping its time. There's something clearly wrong with it. No one's got a ladder big enough to get up there to find out what's going on. Joker's up to stuff. Killer Croc is this big menace in a fish tank up in the loft, and everyone's wondering why is it up there. That's not a very safe place to put it. It's too much weight. We've got rusty pipes that are groaning. It's almost like a ticking time bomb of chaos that's going to be unleashed at some point, and the crank is always being turned tighter and tighter as this clock ticks throughout the story. And so you get the panels, and you've got the ticking, tick, 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 more panels, more ticking. That's the scene with Man back there. And the ticks become more regular thumps, and the thumps become more frequent than the ticks. Something's really wrong with this clock, and the droplets of blood become a torrent of blood. And then some of the machinations that the Joker have already put in place from before are starting to come to fruition, and that's causing chaos. And to Sabine, it's not being a day job. It's more of a case of, can I survive until I get to go home? And not just physically survive, but mentally survive. And the Madness title of the cover isn't just a reflection of the inmates of Arkham Asylum, but also the stability and sanity of the people who staff it, that no one in their right mind would do a shift here and then come back and do it again. No amount of money is worth working a shift at this madhouse. So what I really liked about it was this building up of tension. I thought it was really masterful. I was really engrossed in the story. I had to finish it. Normally when I read a graphic novel, I'll read it for a bit and then I'll leave it for the next day, and then read another bit and read that and then leave it to the next day. I had to finish this morning. I really needed to know how it finished. I was really engaged with it. One of those genuine page turners. What I didn't like about it, I still wasn't a huge fan of the artwork. Now there is a little essay at the back here by the artist on his development, by his methodology, on his ideas, or what he wanted to try and convey through his creation here, and the fact he deliberately went for different methods. He said this is very much a contextual, experimental graphic novel. He wanted to try some different things, some different techniques. So we have some very basic cartoon style panels with very little detail in them, and line drawn, almost monochromal line drawings of events, and then watercolours. Beautiful, rich, quite dark in some cases, but really detailed and stylistic watercolours. Another example there. And everything else in between. It was a really interesting but inconsistent art experience, and I'm not sure if I liked it entirely. I like a bit of consistency in my art style. I don't even like it when the artist changes halfway through a story. But having read the explanation at the back, I came to understand it a bit more as to why they felt compelled to try these different styles, and that effectively what you see on page is only about a tenth of what they actually created in building this graphic novel. You know, when you go from very vague facial characteristics. Again, here's the Man-Bat again. Look at the detail of that piece of art. I mean, that's quite exquisite. The disturbing imagery in here, I think, really worked well for the tension. There's this funny gag with this plastic foot. There's a boot with a bit of leg sticking out of it, which everyone thinks is a gag, until it's revealed that actually this is somebody's foot. The Joker's basically lacquered it to make it look like it's a fake foot. That sort of twisted humour. And the ending, I felt, was perhaps a little bit of a letdown, but then I didn't know where it was going. The amount of tension that was built up, like I say, was brilliant. But the payoff, I don't know, I didn't know what to expect. I don't know what I was hoping for, but I suppose in context of what the story is about, it kind of works. But I couldn't help but be disappointed. But then I didn't know what I wanted in the first place. But then I find that with a lot of psychological things, I enjoy the build-up, but when you actually get to the big reveal or the big release, it's a case of, oh, yeah, and again, it's taken the villains of Gotham and stripped away the comic book, cartoony aspect of them and made them true villains. It made them actual thugs, violent criminals who cause pain and hurt and death. You know, there's no ambiguous anti-hero aspect here. These are bad people. They might be deranged, they may be disturbed, they may have issues with reality, but what they are doing is not good. And it's not hiding behind a facade. These are bad people. And I think it really did an excellent job with that. I think had it been a generic asylum with a bunch of generic villains without any IP attached to them, I think the story would have felt less dark because of it, because, you know, we don't know what these characters are like, so they're doing the bad things. That's the case, we'll take them at that value. Whereas by taking these known villains who are occasionally anti-heroes and making them pure thugs and taking away that comic book aspect of them, they are darker by default, as it were. They've lost that lighter shade to them. And so I thought that really worked well. Anyway, if it was seized in a shop, I would probably pick it up. Really glad I read it. And I feel acknowledged the issues I have with it are due to my own personal taste, rather than issues with the book. So there you go. Have you read Arkham Asylum Madness? If not, are you more inclined to, less inclined to? Who's your favourite Gotham villain? I do have a lot of time for Harley Quinn. So comments down below, please. But as usual, if there's nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and other YouTube things if you want. And until next time, see you later.